Scotty from YouTube. He said, what is your opinion of Roland Martin calling Bill Maher, Bernie Sanders, and other white liberals for saying, calling out Bill Maher, Bernie Sanders, and other white liberals for saying we need to stop focusing so much on identity politics? I did not hear any part of this conversation, so I can't really comment on it from a point of knowing what you're, exactly what you're talking about. But I can pretty much summarize what they're arguing. Identity politics. It's simple, folks. It's both and. End of the conversation. It's both and it's and. You cannot look at what happened. Perfect segue into the next story. In New Orleans, look at the monuments. Look at the monuments that people are literally rallying behind. White Americans, Confederate people who still love the Confederacy are rallying behind these monuments, protesting, arguing, to the point that the police have to get involved because they are so connected to the Confederacy that they are willing to fight to keep these monuments from coming down. This has nothing to do with economics. This has everything to do with their hatred. I don't care what look at the video that I shared on my timeline. I didn't upload it because I didn't have time to edit out all of the N-words. All of the times this white man who was holding a Confederate flag, defending this monument, looked at the black man. Out of everyone in the crowd, he picked out the black person. All these white faces, he picked out the black person and started calling him relentlessly the N-word over and over and over again. That had nothing to do with economic anxiety. It had everything to do with the visceral hatred that some white Americans still have because they feel like their supremacy is being challenged. Well, you know what? Yes, it is. It is. It is absolutely being challenged. And by the looks of the acumen of this man, I don't see how they could have ever thought that they were supreme in the first damn place. But that's a whole different conversation. The point is that in these New Orleans monuments, they are not able, the people, in order to remove them, they require heavy cranes that can lift these monuments. And every company in Louisiana that has the equipment to do this have received threats. And so now they're faced with a situation with, can they remove them if they don't have access to the equipment to remove them? And this is the result. This is exactly what the Klan wanted. The KKK wants these monuments that were erected as a symbol of white supremacy to remain. What do I say to people who say that we shouldn't focus on identity politics? Take a look at New Orleans, because it is very present right now today, and you cannot ignore it. You cannot ignore it morally. But as a matter of politics, it is political malpractice to ignore it. What the hell are your advisors telling you? Because this is what, when people run into situations and they drive down the road and they run into this is very personal for somebody who's on the receiving end of this white supremacy. The same thing can be said about LGBTQ community and the fight that they have. It is very personal. And how can you expect it to be anything else but personal? Have we weaponized identity politics? Yes. Is it detrimental to the national conversation? Absolutely. But can we disregard the reality that you have a fraction of America that is dead set on using political power to continue the oppression and the marginalization of groups like the black community, people of color, the LGBTQ community, and women in general? You cannot deny it. Therefore, you cannot ignore it. It has to be both and in the conversation.